Welcome to CS120, week 4. There's going to be a little bit of work with spreadsheets, but mostly you're going to be working on forms. So I'm going to skip the spreadsheet for now, and if you have any questions on that, come and talk to me later. But basically, if you had completed the first spreadsheet, you're just going to extend what you did in the second sheet here to do a little analysis of two different loans, a 15-year loan for a house versus a 30-year loan for the same house. So take a read through it. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, Google Forms is what's going on this week. So I've got a couple of sample surveys. So one here about Star Wars that you can take, and then there's a couple of others you should take, see what they're like. And then there's a tutorial on Google Forms I put together here. So a form can be emailed to somebody. It could be embedded in a website like it is here, so you can take it right within this site. And this one has multiple stages. It asks for next. Or there can be a link to it in a website. So if I go on to the next page here, you'll see there's some other ones here. So a little Google Form quiz that you could take. So this pops us out. And oh, it says I've already done it, so I can't do it again. And then there's a bad survey about food. So let's start off by taking a look at bad survey. So are you vegetarian, yes or no? Problem here, some people are both, like they eat vegetarian sometimes, but they eat meat on other days. So a spot for another answer would be a good idea here. Do you like fruit? I like some fruit. So giving somebody just yes, no options, only do that if it's absolutely necessary for some reason. What's your favorite fruit? Mine isn't listed here. And the star means it's required. So I can't move forward through this survey until I've answered every required question. So is it really a good idea to make every single question required? Let's take a look at some other ones here. So there's all different kinds of questions that you can have. Whenever you have these what are called radio buttons, you can only select one, not more than one. Here, I could have a list of things, but I can only select one. I can't select more than one. What is your favorite thing about fruits and vegetables? That's a pretty vague question. What do I mean by thing? And then short answer is not bad. I could write everything. How often do you eat meat? Problem here is I could write one. What does one mean? Like once a week, once a day, once a month, once in my life. Somebody might answer the question like every day. Somebody else might answer the question 3 times each week. And so what? Somebody writes every day, somebody writes 3 times each week. Somebody might write twice a day. The problem is, how do you deal with that once you have all that data? How can you sort it to give you some reasonable results that you can analyze? So you definitely want to guide people through it. So a better question here might not be how often do you eat meat? It could be how many times a week do you have meat? Or how many servings of meat do you eat each week? And then maybe tell them what you mean by a serving. You could have a link to a website that explains what is a serving of meat. Another problem with a lot of these is again, they give you options. And here I can select all of them if I wanted to. So these are check boxes, a little different than the radio buttons. Only do that if you really need to. Sometimes we want to restrict people to only one answer, but other times we want to give them a bunch of options. So this might be a good thing. Depends on the question. But you usually want to have an other category. So let's see, do we have one down here? I'll show you that in a minute. If you use a rating scale, you got to tell them what does it mean to rate a 1 versus what does it mean to rate a 10, and that's missing here. Same idea here. I don't know what it means to be a 1 versus a 3 for meat or fruits or vegetables. So it's pretty vague. What time do you eat dinner every night? It's required. It's not too bad. When was the last time you ate sushi? Not bad. Do you have anything else to say about food? Not bad. I'm not even going to fill this one out because it kind of sucks. All right, so check out these surveys, please. The quiz one, the one about coding, and the bad survey. Let's take a quick look at the one about coding here. Here, I asked for a first name and a last name. Sometimes people just ask for name, and then that's kind of vague because, well, do you want my first name? Do you want my last name? Do you want both? And it's also a good idea to separate them out so that you can sort by last name and then by first name and so on. So my recommendation is you have them separate. Fill out this one. Email address. Notice it's not required, optional. Just forgot to click there. Or maybe I'll leave that blank today. What is your gender? So here I give another option, none of your business. Have you ever coded before? So here's what I mean by having an other category. It could be somebody has an important answer to this question that I didn't think of, so I need to give them a place to type. A few times years ago, right? So it's different than yes, no, and not sure. So it's usually if you want to give people a question where you have answers that you think you want to know about, but usually put an other there just in case somebody doing this has a better option than you thought of. In terms of scaling, on a scale of 0 to 5, how interested are you in learning to code a game or app? Not, I want to learn now. So you could either, in the question state where 0 is you're not at all interested and 5 means you want to do it right now, and put that in here. Redundancy is not a bad idea either. So I'm going to put a 5 in there. Have you ever played Minecraft? Yes, no, I don't know what that is. So yes, I have played Minecraft. So I'm going to hit next. And notice that the survey recognized that I said yes to play Minecraft, and it brought me to a section called So You Play Minecraft. And then it's going to ask me some questions about Minecraft. And had I answered the other way, let's go back. No. I have to redo my name. G for now. It's going to take me to a different part of the survey. So you can do branching in your surveys. Okay, not Minecraft. And then you can continue from there. So I'll take a look at the branching in just a moment too. So let's make a survey. So again, check those out. Next is my tutorial. Explains a little about the kinds of questions, how you start a new form. And then here, I'm making a note that I want you to create a form. You're going to have to add me as a collaborator, and then you're going to send it out to a few people. And so here again are step-by-step details on how to make a movie night survey. So I'm going to do a kind of similar survey right now. And then here's a whole bunch of other help pages that Google has about doing stuff for the form. So I need to get to my drive. So it's a good idea when you're making something in Google Drive to navigate to the folder you want the thing to live in rather than have to move it later, because chances are you might forget. So I'm playing with a tutorial. I don't have a folder in here yet for this, so I need a new folder in my CS120 tutorials folder. And this is called Google Forms Tutorial. You should have a similar folder. Keep your stuff well organized. And then in this folder, I want to add a new form. So not one of the main options here, but I can go to More and then select Google Forms. And they have templates you can play with. Feel free to check them out. I'm going to go with the blank form, which is what I get when I click on Google Forms. All right, here we go. It's a good idea to give the form a name. So I'm going to do video watching habits. And if you type it here and then go up here to the actual name of the file, it'll just pick up whatever you type there, which is kind of nice. So this is the title that people see. This is the title that it's saved as in your folder. Otherwise, what will end up being there is an untitled form instead of having a name there. So I always want to name everything. And you can give it a description if you want to be more clear about your title. I'm curious about your video watching habits. Please enlighten me. So usually with a survey, sometimes we want to know people's names, sometimes they don't. So maybe I'm going to ask for people's names here. And when I do ask for name, I'm going to do first name separate from last name. So I'm going to call it first name. And Google said, oh, you probably want that to be a short answer. So it kind of guessed. So then I'm going to add over here another question, throws it below for last name. And Google again sees that I type last name and says, oh, you probably want that to be a short answer. Now, somebody can type anything they want here for the answer. So I just want to go view my form. So usually as I'm editing it, I come up here to the preview button. And I click it to see what would happen if somebody clicked here and started typing. So there's nothing that stops somebody from putting nothing in there or to type something ridiculous like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Although, hey, maybe there is somebody with a last name like that. I don't know. Kind of cool. So I can test it out as I'm going, see what it looks like to other people. Maybe I decide, man, that purple looks like crap. I don't like it. So I can close it, leave. I already have this editing tab open here. So I'm going to edit this just a little bit. Today I'm not digging this purple, so I'm going to go over here to the color palette. And the color palette gives you some preset colors to choose from. Lacking sun in Pendleton lately, so I'm going to click the shiny one there. Ooh, that's nice. They also have a bunch of templates you can grab down here, or themes. And so they have themes by topic. And you can also upload your own folder to kind of build your own theme, which is kind of fun. So have some fun, play around with that. I'm going to cancel because I don't really want to do that right now, but I encourage you to. Another thing, as far as the name goes, maybe I don't care about their first name, but I really want their last name. So I'm going to make that one required. So always ask yourself, do you really want to require everything? And then otherwise, which questions really need to be required? There's that dot button down here, and that gives me some other options. So I could add a description elaborating on what I mean by last name, and I can also add response validation. Response validation is pretty cool. So maybe I'm asking for an age, so I want them to type a number. But here, I'm actually asking for text. So if I said text, and then let's see, contains, doesn't contain email, URL. I guess that's not really going to work for me here, because then here the option says, okay, the text has to contain something. I guess I'm not going to do that. Length. Ooh, regular expression is cute. Let me show you that quick. A regular expression is a computer language programming term that looks for patterns in things people type, or when you scan a document, when you do a search for a word. That's a regular expression idea. So we're looking for something that reoccurs in something that's already typed or something that people are typing. And if you want to learn more about regular expressions, you can just search the internet for regular expressions. And you'll find lots of cool websites that tell you all about what the heck is a regular expression and what can you do with them. I use a site often called regexer. So regexer. If you search for that, you go to regexer.com. And they have a cheat sheet about how to type regular expressions over here. And then here they have a sample. So this one right here is looking for things that start with a capital A through Z, followed by a continuation of a word. And the G means keep searching through the whole document. That's G for global. So look everywhere. And you'll notice down here, everywhere they find a capitalized first letter and a continuing word, it gets highlighted. If I change that to a lowercase a through Z, then it will only find things that start with a lowercase. Just like almost everything in here. So I'm going to steal their example here, at least part of it, in here, and I'm going to say regular expression contains, and the pattern, since it's at the beginning, it's going to look for it at the start. So I'm going to put the square bracket, capital A through Z, close the square bracket, and then slash. I'm looking for that in a word. And it's at the beginning of the word because it's at the beginning of the phrase here. So let's see if that works. So preview it. And then I required it here. So if I start typing PARKER, it says, ooh, pattern must match. What do you mean pattern must match? PARKER. Once I put the capital in there, it's OK with it. So I need a better error message than pattern must match, because people are going to be confused. What the hell, what pattern are you looking for? So I'm going to close that and try again. So I think I got my pattern, my regular expression written right. I just need a custom error text. Please capitalize. I'll put a capital there. Capitalize the first letter. Thanks. And I'll save it again, or preview it again. See if this works better. PARKER. Oops. Oh, please capitalize the first letter. Thanks. OK, fine. Parker. There we go. And here I could either leave it blank or type anything I want. I didn't put any kind of condition on that one. So a little advanced form stuff there, which is kind of fun. All right, so I'm pretty good with first name, last name. And I'm also going to ask for an email address. I'm going to make that optional, not required. And it says suggestion, collect email, let's see, enable email collection setting. Ooh, what is that? It's a new one. Uh-oh. No, maybe I don't want to do that. Change settings. Come here. All right, collect email address. I'm going to uncheck that right there. Oh, and my settings are a little different than yours because this is an institutional Google account. You won't have that restrict thing here. I'm going to uncheck that. Otherwise, only people with a BMCC address can take it. Let's see. Collect email address. I don't want to do that. Restrict to BMCC. Nope. Limit. Nope. Edit after submit. Oh, sure. Do you ever take a survey and want to go change it after? See summary charts and text responses. Oh, sure. And let's save it. There's some other options you can check out too. All right. So back to this question. And notice when I was up here, the plus is here. That means that'll throw a new question in between first name and last name. Oops, didn't want to do that. Trash it. So you want to be sure you're in the right spot when you hit new question. All right, so let's go back to email address. And I want that to be a short answer. I don't want to require it, but I do want to see if they did type, is it an email address? So here I can go for text. And one of the text options is, does it look like an email address? So Google will check that for me. So write in a special message, not sure that's an email address. And let's test it out. OK, so we know we have to have a capital, otherwise it freaks out on us. Down here, if I choose to fill it out, suppose I just type G. Parker. It says, not sure that's an email address. So I throw in an @ Oops, click there. @ Still not sure it's an email address. Somewhere. I'm not sure. .com. Now it looks like an email address. So maybe there is a somewhere.com, but I don't have an email address there. But at least it looks like one to Google now. And that's what that was checking for. All right, hope this is informative and fun. Some people geek out on the regular expression stuff. Others don't. That's OK. We all have our own likes and dislikes. OK, so now to the meat of this, video watching habits. OK, so how about where do you get your videos? And then I can offer some options. Now, multiple choice means they can only pick one. I want check boxes so they can check more than one. So like maybe they use Amazon Prime, or maybe they use Netflix. You can also add images to go with this. So maybe you can put a little Netflix logo. That's probably not legal, but you have an option there. What else do we have? Hulu, YouTube. Now we get YouTube Red, which is even different. I could add that as a separate one. red box, legally. Just kidding. Probably should put that in there. I can't even spell it right. Where else do we get videos? Running out of ideas right now. So I'm going to put an add other, and so people can type whatever they want on this one right here. If there's stuff I didn't think of, and there's definitely stuff I didn't think of here, because there's a lot more options out there in our universe. So let's add another question. Do you watch videos on Netflix? Question mark. And so there's, maybe I'll go for their yes, no, maybe. And then I'll also add another in case I missed something. And I want to change the order of these so I can just drag them to be in a different order. So yes, no, maybe, that looks pretty good. And I think I'm ready to do something else. So other options, you can add text in between questions. You can add images, you can add videos embedded in there, and you can add sections. So I'm going to do a section here. I'm going to call this section YouTube. And then I'm going to add a question to it. And so here's how I'm going to get to the branching. So if they said yes to YouTube, I'm going to take them to this section. If they say no to YouTube, I'm going to make a new section for that. And then I got to decide what to do with maybe. So how many hours a day watch YouTube? On average. Clarify. And then here I want that to be text, short answer. And under text, I want a number. I don't want somebody to type the word 1. I want them to type like the numeral 1. So number, yep, greater than, less than, is a whole number. I don't care if it's a whole number. So great, I'm going to go greater than or equal to 0. All right, and I could do something like a real number, please. Or maybe a numeral. Okay. And let's add a new section. So another section, and we'll call this one No YouTube. Seriously? You can put any kind of text you want in there, and then add a question. How about what do you, or where do you watch instead? And this one I could just have the short answer. Let them type whatever they want. Or I could add some options like I did up here. Okay, so how to deal with those sections. So here I want to branch. So clicking back on this question right here. Let's see. I want to click that dot button and then go to section based on answer. So that gives me some things here. So I could, if yes, do I want them to go to the next section? Yep, I do. If they do no, I want them to jump to no YouTube. Maybe I want a new section. Like, what do you mean by maybe? Or I might decide, don't want to use that one, so I can pull it out. And then for other, what do I want to do? I guess we need a new section, so let's do that. I'm letting them do other, new section. And where did I put my new section? Right there. So I need to move that sucker. Move section, and you need to be down there. Okay, so I didn't have that checkbox in the right spot when I dropped it in there. And what do you Add a question. Can you elaborate your answer to the last question? Please. And paragraph seems good. I think Google must have saw my word elaborate there. All right, so now I have a place to put. There we go. Uh-oh, what did I mess up here? I accidentally deleted. Oh, no. No, where'd it go? No YouTube, YouTube. I lost my YouTube question. Oh, wait a minute. I put Netflix here. Weird. What I meant. All right, so sorry for the confusion. Next section, no YouTube, other is what do you mean? All right, so we got some branching going on, and then I need a place for them to go after each of those branches. So clicking down here, and I can add another section. And I don't want a name for this section, but I do want a question. On average, how many hours in each day do you watch videos? Question. And I want to add a little text to go with that. Ooh, did I hit the wrong button? I don't want a title. I do want some text. Actually, no, I changed my mind. I don't want to put that there. I want to put it here. Any type of video. Streamed, DVD, etc. All right, and then here I want that to be a short answer, and I want a require that, and I want to validate the response by seeing if I have a number greater than or equal to 0. And I don't want to just do greater than 0 because, hey, maybe there's someone out there that doesn't watch any videos. And I don't think I'm going to put a custom in there. All right, so we're going to put the end here. Thanks. I have myself a short survey. Okay, so we want to elaborate and then continue on. Here, I don't want them to go to the what do you mean, so I need to say, as far as the branching goes, jump right to the end. Same thing here about the people that answered yes to YouTube. I don't want to go to the next section. I want to go right to the end. So when you do branching, you want to do a couple of things. One, you need to say you're going to do branching, so go to section based on answer. You need to decide on which section they go to, and then in each of those sections, you have to decide what happens after they do that section. Do they go on to the next section, or do they continue the survey later on? Okay. All right, then we test it. It's always a good idea to test things out, because what if they don't work the way you hoped? All right, so first name is optional. I can leave it blank. I can say my name is Dog. Email dog at dogstuff.org. Dog likes Amazon Prime and Netflix and YouTube. And I have some old DVDs to watch. You watch YouTube. Yes, I do watch YouTube. Yes. Okay, so it takes me to the YouTube yes section where it says how many hours a day do you watch YouTube on average. I bet on average in YouTube, I watch 0.25 hours each day. I don't watch much. That's probably a little high. Next, should take me to the end of the survey. On average, how many hours each day do you watch videos? Any type of video, stream, DVD, etc. Answer, I bet I watch about an hour a day, maybe on average. And submit. And bang, I can see my response. I can edit my response, or I can submit another one. So I could, let's test it out. Edit your response. I like my answers there, but what if I switch to no here? What's going to happen? No, YouTube? Seriously? Where do you watch instead? All right, I do quite a bit on Amazon, let's say. And next, it jumped me to the end where I have my answer of 1, and I can submit it. All right, so it looks like my branching does work just fine. I should check the other one. So if you didn't have the option to edit the form, then what you would have to do is basically reload the view of your form. And so just view it again. That one's required, so I got to put something there. Should take that. This one is not required, but I want to see what happens with other. I haven't seen that yet. Do you watch videos on YouTube? Sometimes. Okay. I could have answered yes. They chose to do sometimes. Next. Ooh, they wanted another letter. Okay, fine. PA. Oh, that's because I said it had to be part of a word, and it wanted a word to be more than one letter. I can fix that. Next. Can you elaborate on your last answer? I watch YouTube once or twice a week. Okay, next. I do, let's say, my daughter probably watches about 20 hours a week. I'm so sad to say that. Submit. I could submit another response. I can see previous responses. Ooh. Kind of cool. Ooh, look at those beautiful charts up there. Nice. We need more data. All right. So with regex stuff, if you want to know more about that, let me know. I can help you find regular expressions to double check the way somebody types things. But otherwise, this was just to play around, get used to Google Forms. Shortly, I misspelled habits. You're going to get together with your group by emailing each other, possibly calling, or whatever kind of communication tools you guys like to use, and you're going to come up with something to survey people about. You may decide there's going to be some required questions. You may decide you want names and email addresses. That's all up to you. It's not necessarily a good idea to require the email in the settings, like this one right here, because then the person has to be logged into Google to fill out your form. And I know a lot of people that would see once they were required to log in, they're like, no, I don't want you to make me do that. So use that one cautiously. Presentation, there's some options here you might want to check out. You can do a confirmation message at the end. And then you could also have this be as a graded quiz. And I gave a sample of that earlier that you're going to try out. Other kind of cool things here. Sending. There's 3 ways to send out a form. By send, I mean get it out to people to take. You could email them by entering their address here. So I can send this to gparker@bmcc online, and I can adjust the subject, and I can put a message in there. I could include the form in the email. Some email viewers will allow you to actually have it embedded in there, which is kind of cool. You could get the link, and you could post that link somewhere, like on your WordPress page, which I'll take a look at in a minute. Or you could do what's called embedding. And embedding allows you to have the form inside of another page, which is kind of cool too. You could send it out to Google+, Facebook, Twitter, back to email here. So that's sharing it, sending it to get other people to take it. Adding collaborators gets people to edit it. So there's 2 ways to do that. Google recently added an Add Collaborators link down here. And otherwise, from the triple button up in the left here, I can add collaborators there. And collaborator means somebody's going to help me edit this form too. Okay, so I could go out to one of my partners, Greg, and I can add a message. Needs help edit a survey with me. I'm going to pick a different person than Greg, or maybe I want multiple people. We'll do that. So I'm going to go out to coach. Nope, not there. Math. All right, I have an alternate ego called Math Coach Parker. I'm going to have them help too. Send a copy to myself. Don't need it today. So hit send. Send. Okay. So it warned me Greg Schulberg and Gary Parker didn't have BMCC accounts, which is okay. All right, so next steps. So what happens to the people on the other side? How do you view the responses? So some things like that. So clicking responses will show what people put in there. If you wanted to analyze this further, you could then put that into a Google Sheet. And it'll say, do you want to put this in an existing sheet, or do you want me to create a new sheet for you? So I'm going to choose create. Okay, so a spreadsheet is created. And in that spreadsheet, I get things like a timestamp. When did they fill it out? And any information that they put in there, so then I can start messing with it. Like I could make some pretty charts and graphs. I'm going to demo how to do that in another video. The cool thing about this spreadsheet is every time somebody fills my survey out, so let's go back to preview and do it again and say this is Joe student. Not going to do an email address, but watches everything. They do watch YouTube for 2 hours a day. And on average, they probably watch 5 hours a day of video. Okay, submit. And so what will happen here is my spreadsheet will automatically update too, which is pretty damn cool. All right, so waiting for more data to analyze it. Like this last question eventually, hopefully everybody answers the last question. Ooh, 20 hours a day. Oh, I was thinking 20 hours a week. Oops. Okay, so my question could, let's see, well, it was pretty clear, wasn't it? How many hours each day? Maybe I want to capitalize capital day, D-A-Y, make people notice it's per day, not per week. Or I could put a catch in there if the number's too big, send an error message. So that would be another possibility there. And pretty much anytime you make a survey and give it out, after you review the results, you're going to decide, could have asked that question better. and that's pretty common even for people that make surveys a lot. So next steps. So let's suppose this was part of my group effort and other people helped me edit this. So let's be one of those other people. Group is Math Coach Parker, and Math Coach Parker checks his Gmail, and he sees that this other guy named Gary Parker invited him to edit, not just view, but edit the survey. So here's that invitation. Once it loads. And then I can open it in Forms. Before I do that, I'm just going to go into Google Drive. So Math Coach Parker can find out that he was added, that he has the option to edit this file in 2 different ways. One, an email was sent. I can see that here. And 2, once this loads, there's a place called Shared with Me. Come on. Get in there. So Shared with Me should show anything that's been recently shared. Okay, so there's the video watching habits. Now, check this out. Gary Parker made this, and then he shared the form. Now, he also made a spreadsheet based on the form data, But notice that is not in the shared with me section. So just because there is a spreadsheet that's connected to a Google form, that has to be shared separately. So the facilitator of your group is going to have to start the form. Anybody in the group can then start the spreadsheet. And whoever does that then has to share the spreadsheet with the rest of the group. But there's still one more step beyond that. So although it's in shared with me, it's not in my drive yet. So I got to put it in my drive. Okay. So let's see. He's got a CS120 folder right there from last year. Let's make him a new CS120 folder. CS120. Pretty sure that doesn't already exist here. Okay. And so we're going to go to this link here. We're going to open it. So he can edit it here. So if he decides, you better make first name required, or you better make email required, then that's going to happen for this thing that he and Greg and Gary now have access to edit. So again, you don't want to make a copy of this, because then there's going to be two different versions of the form floating around out there, and that's not necessarily a good thing. Anybody of these people now could add another collaborator to this. So that's important too. Now, as far as it living in the drive, at the moment, it's just in the shared with me section, which technically isn't part of your regular drive. So what's going to happen is Gary, Math Coach Parker, is going to have to take this, right-click on it, and they're going to have to do two things. They're going to have to add it to their drive, and then once it's in there, they're going to have to organize it into the right spot. So he's going to have to go put it in his CS120 folder. And if he has a place to put it, great. Tutorials, there we go. And inside tutorials, if he has a Google Forms tutorial place, let's see, do I see that here? Forms tutorial. Maybe he wants to make a new one, so I'm going to add a new folder called Google Forms tutorial, and check off to add it, and check to move here. Okay. So now he's got it added to his drive. And so then the facilitator of this group back here, there, here we go, is then going to have to take this, so the facilitator in this case started this spreadsheet, then they're going to have to share it with the other group members. So, oh, it says it is already shared. Interesting, it wasn't appearing there. All right, well, let's try and look for it again. You can always reshare it, that doesn't hurt. So, Math Coach Parker says, hey, I couldn't find that. Can you help me out here? And then let's do a search for video habits. And it's still not showing up. Oh, maybe it's misspelled habits. There it is, the misspelled version. Okay. So one of two things can happen. If another group member says, hey, I can't find the spreadsheet, have them try to search for the title. If that doesn't seem to work, then the facilitator would then just reshare it and make sure an email gets sent. So share, Math Coach Parker couldn't find it. They would just retype that address, even though it already says it's shared with them because they can't find it. Hope you find this through your email. Let me know. And then send it. And so now for sure, this other person will get an email that says, hey, here's that spreadsheet. So then they can go and add it to their drive. So let's go double check. Math Coach Parker got that to happen. Inbox. And it takes a minute for the internet to get all that stuff through. There it is. So now I can open it in Sheets. Now, it's still not part of my drive, and it's still not in the right spot. So then, as the other person in the group, add it to my drive and organize it into the right spot. So everybody in the group is going to have to make sure that they have a folder for this and it's in the right spot. Oops, I have two CS120 folders. So tutorials, and Google Forms and move it in there. And so now double checking my drive. Another CS120 folder here with the tutorials page and a Google Forms tutorial. And now I have those two in there. All right. So I think that's it for now, a little longer than I wanted, but that's okay. We got a lot of good information. So if you have any questions, get in touch. Please get in touch with your group members and do good work.